would like to thank all of you for giving us this opportunity to serve by speaking about the wonderful glories of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. It would be helpful if I could know whether there are any visitors coming for the first time today.
You come by later.
That's a good tip for me. Next time. I would also come later. Right? Special benefits. The reason is that if most of us here have been regularly attending the temple program here, then we must be aware of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, isn't it? Lovingly called as Lord Gauranga. Right? Okay. Our founder Acharya, His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, would, with great love and reverence, speak about his spiritual master, His Divine Grace, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Maharaj. You heard about Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Maharaj? He was popularly known as the Simha Guru, the Lion Guru, for reasons best known to people who loved him. In fact, even his detractors would be addressing him as the Simha Guru. He was very straightforward, sometimes quite blunt, when he would express certain perspectives, very uncompromising. So Srila Prabhupada would tell us that when people are faithful, the faithful would become emotional about seeing the Lord. Then Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Maharaj would call that approach, sometimes would call that approach as the eye exercise. You've heard that before? On one occasion, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Maharaj was giving a lecture, presentation. He was speaking on the Ishopanishad. And some of the devotees who were in the audience, they got up and they left. It's quite normal, sometimes you see devotees walking out. They have some important seva to be done and then they walk in again. So later on, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he commented. He said, "Oh, they walked out when I was speaking and they went to see the deities. What is called as darshan. So they went for darshan. So he said, oh, so they have come here only for the eye exercise. Like, just give some exercise to the eyes. That's all they've come for here. And he gave a reference from the Srimad Bhagavatam. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, Srila Vyasadeva, he explains a peculiar way of seeing. It's a very, very novel way of how to have vision, to see. Vyasadeva says, or Shukadeva Goswami, the speaker, Tvam bhakti yoga paribhavita vrita saroja ase srute kshita patho nanunat pungsam. He says, in these two lines it's been expressed, vrita saroja, the lotus heart, the heart which is being compared to a lotus. Paribhavita, if you want that lotus to bloom. And when does a lotus flower bloom? When the lotus flower has happy thoughts, happy hormones. Isn't it? When the lotus flower feels secure and happy, then it blooms. So if you want your heart to feel very safe, happy, open, and if you want it to bloom, Vyasadeva is expressing this. Then Bhakti Yoga is the medium to do that. So the process of devotional service, you'll be able to do that. Asya shutekshita patho nanunat pungsa. However, the real impetus for being very active in Bhakti Yoga and devotional service is when you have clear vision of what is expected of you to be done. Clear vision. You need to have clear sight. So yes, with my eyes I can see the wonderful temple structure, I can see the books, I can see my beads, I can see devotees, I can see prasad. Vyasadeva says there is a very, very unique and novel way of seeing. Ikshita. Ikshita means to see. He says Shruta Ikshita. To see with your ears, not just the eyes. Shruta Ikshita. Srila Prabhupada would also express this perspective. He would also say that one must try to hear with one's ears and see with one's ears. Not just with one's eyes, one should also be able to see with one's ears. Because if one just sees with one's eyes, then one is limited to seeing, or one is limited by one's own limitations. I can only see as much as my eyes have developed to see. But when you hear from somebody else, their vision, their perspective, it opens up. Your eyes have better vision. Your mind has more scope for expansion. So you become more thoughtful. There's a possibility to be more thoughtful, mindful. So this process of seeing through one's ears, or simply called as hearing. But when you say hearing, it seems to be very ordinary. When you say seeing with your ears, it seems to be unique. It's like, oh, this is a very unique approach. Seeing with my ears. So this has been referenced to in the Bhagavatam too, in this verse. Ase shuti shita patho nanunath pungsam. Pungsam means living entity. Nanunath, my dear Lord, our Master. So we are trying to understand Krishna consciousness based upon the teachings, the philosophical approach that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave us. His approach to Krishna consciousness was that we have to serve Krishna because that is our inherent nature. And service has to be done in the mood, with a certain attitude. The attitude is that one has to be grateful that one can serve. One has to have such gratitude that, one is able to chant on one's speeds, or one is able to, just take off one's shoes and put it on the shoe rack. That's service. Have you ever considered that? Such great service, because when you keep your shoes on the shoe rack, you leave the space open for others to leave their shoes. You're being so mindful, thoughtful. And then being grateful to be able to do that. To be able to leave space open for others who may come after us. So that is where Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu put a lot of stress. He wanted us to be very grateful for the opportunities in life to be able to render service in any form, shape. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's associates were always eager to serve. So in the Chaitanya Leela, as described in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Chaitanya Bhagavat, very briefly in Chaitanya Mangal, Chaitanya Charitamrita, the author is Shri Krishna Das Kaviraj Goswami. Chaitanya Bhagavat, the author is Vrindavan Das Thakur. Chaitanya Mangal, the most popular version, the one that we follow, is by Shri Lochan Das Thakur. So very briefly, Lochan Das Thakur very briefly hints at it, but in Chaitanya Bhagavat, there is references and elaborate references in the Chaitanya Charitamrita of Lord Chaitanya taking sannyas. It's not a very, very happy remembrance for many devotees, Lord Chaitanya taking sannyas. But then, the cause for which he took sannyas is very much appreciated. So he takes sannyas. He takes sannyas in a place known as Kantakanagar. Today it's called Katwa. So, how many of you have heard of how sannyas ceremonies take place? How many of you are aware of it? Do you know what sannyas? Have you heard about sannyas in ISKCON? Have you seen some sannyas ceremonies? How many of us have not? Please raise up your hands. Have you heard about sannyas ceremonies? Yes. You've heard about sannyas. It's very similar to, how many of us have participated in the initiation ceremony, Diksha ceremony? Some of us have participated. How many of us may have heard about it, that there's a Diksha ceremony somewhere? Most of us have heard about it. Some of us have participated in it. So sannyas. Now when Lord Chaitanya had to take sannyas, the community did not come together and participate. Oh, such and such devotee is going to be initiated. It is a wonderful event. Let us all come together. Lord Chaitanya ran away from home. He ran away from home. And it was, he did not just take the roads. He did not take to the roads. He decided to swim across the Ganga. Now the river Ganga is like huge, really huge. From one end to the other end, from one bank to the other bank. She's really huge. So he swims across. And when does he swim across the Ganga? In the dark. Early hours of the morning. And no one in the entire universe knows about Lord Chaitanya taking sannyas because it's before Brahma Muhurta, So everyone's asleep, I guess. But Nityananda Prabhu is very interesting. He somehow or the other follows him. And then Acharya Rath, Lord Chaitanya's uncle, Chandrasekhar Acharya, he accompanies him, and Mukunda. They follow him all the way to Kantak Nagar. So he swims across the Ganga, walks all the way to Kantak Nagar, and there he declares that he wants to take sannyas. The whole town of Kantak Nagar, the whole town of Katwa revolts. People are out with placards. Go back, Gauranga. Go back, Gauranga. Don't take sannyas. Now for most of us, if we want to take Diksha, we want to participate in the initiation ceremony, at the most, and for the men, they have to shave. Women, they have to just be presentable. So Lord Chaitanya is a male. There's no barber ready to shave his head off. So Lord Chaitanya convinces one barber. His name is Madhu. What is the name of the barber? Madhu. Because he was a very sweet person. See, in today's times, as soon as you're born, you have to decide on a name, it's registered, right? About 500 years ago, 550 years ago, especially in that part, the Indian subcontinent, a child's name would stick to the child once the child shows certain behavioral traits. So if someone is very smart, then the person is called a smarty. I'm not being funny, it's true. If someone is short, not growing really fast, they call him shorty. Sometimes you get your name after you're an adult. And the name sticks. For those of you who have family in Fiji, the Caribbean, indentured labor, your forefathers, their names are something similar. What is her name? Babu. What? It's like, Babu is like saying man, person. That's all they would call him, Babu. So the name is Babu. That becomes a family name. So you wouldn't be surprised finding somebody of Indian heritage in Fiji Islands or in the Caribbean or Mauritius. The family name is Babu. No one in India has a family name as Babu. But that's a family name. Yes? So Madhu, very sweet man, a barber by profession. Lord Chaitanya uses some kind of magic on him. He goes, abracadabra. And Madhu says, no, it doesn't work. I'm not going to shave your head. But Lord Chaitanya says, I'm not trying to convince you. I've not enchanted you. I've cast the enchantment on your hands. Madhu's like, no, but his hands are moving towards Lord Chaitanya's head to shave off his head. So after the task was done, do you know what Madhu did? He said, you hands, I renounce you for what you're known for. I renounce you. With these hands, I'm never ever going to shave any other head. I give up my profession. He renounces his hands by renouncing the profession that his hands were dealing in. He renounced that. And he became a sweet. What is the word for it? Sweet meat, but then that's old English. You know what a sweet means?
Yeah.
A sweet meat shop. Yeah? The younger generation, do you know what's a sweet meat shop? It's a shop that makes sweets. Candy shop. Old English is sweet meat. Did you know that? The Old English is sweet meat. The sweet is quite meaty. Yeah, because the sweets would be like this big and slushy. So he opened up a sweet meat shop. People asked him, why sweet meat? My name's Madhu. I'm supposed to be sweet. I don't do anything else. He opens up a sweet shop. Lord Chaitanya is so happy. Nityananda Prabhu is like, all right, chill. I don't think so anyone else is going to be happy, so please. But he doesn't care because he's so happy. He says, now I've taken sannyas, I'm going to Vrindavan. Nityananda Prabhu realizes if he goes to Vrindavan, then that's it. He wouldn't stay a sannyasi, he would become a Babaji. He'd go into seclusion. So, Nityananda Prabhu has to think on his feet. He's like, let me see what my options are. Meanwhile, the others, Acharya Ratna is like, I'm not going to say anything because I'm so afraid of saying anything. The Lord will not be pleased with whatever I speak. And Mukunda is simply a follower of Lord Chaitanya. He is like Lord Chaitanya's pet friend. So he keeps quiet. Chandrasekhar Acharya is quiet. Nityananda Prabhu is really, he's processing his intelligence as fast as AI processes a processor. All data, all kinds of data, because Nityananda Prabhu has traveled the length and breadth of the country. So he knows that countryside very well. He's looking to see what can be done. Constantly processing. And Nityananda Prabhu finds an opportunity. Lord Chaitanya is madly running in great ecstasy towards Vrindavan. So Bengal is towards the east, so Vrindavan is towards the west. The Ganga flows from the west to the east. So all he does is follow the river upstream. In India, as soon as you leave the cities that are on the banks of the river Ganga, you hit the countryside, just vast fields. Typically in the Ganges plain, in the Ganga plains, you won't find trees along the banks because they have reclaimed all the forests and converted into cultivated land. And in these villages, about 500 years ago, it was very, very common to rush into a crowd of cowherdsmen with their cows. Very common with cattle. Because they would be taking out their cattle to graze. So the only grass that they would find for grazing was close to the river banks, where the water would come in and recede. That is where they would find. So and since Lord Chaitanya was traveling upstream along the bank, he meets up with a community of cowherdsmen, two like adolescent boys and the cows. Lord Chaitanya is so happy. He's like, oh, Krishna is sending me a sign. I'm amongst the gopas and the goats, the cows, and the cowherd boys. He's so happy. Nityananda Prabhu, he goes up to the boys and he whispers in their ears. He's saying, you know this sannyasi, I'm taking the liberty of making all of this up. Like, I'm preparing a drama script, so I'm making this up. This is not the Chaitanya Charitamrita, whatever he says. So he whispers, this sannyasi is a sannyasi who's gone a little crazy. We can play pranks on him. What you can do? I'll bring the sannyasi up to you. And he'll ask you questions. And you give him the answers that are far away from the real answers. and you won't even understand. And the boys are like, no, he is a completely grown-up man. Do you think we are stupid? How can we fool him? Nityananda Prabhu says, all right, let me prove it to you. I'll bring the sannyasi up to you. He'll ask you a question. Where are we? You should not say Bengal. You should say Vrindavan. And the boys are like, why would he accept our answer? He said, I told you this sannyasi is crazy. And then he'll ask you, what is this river? And you should say Yamuna. They said, this is not Yamuna, this is Ganga. He says, I told you, let's play a prank on this sannyasi. And the boys, they were all, very happy. Yes, let us do that. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu comes up to the boys and yes, he does ask them, where are we? They say, Vrindavan. And, oh, I'm in Vrindavan, Nityananda, I'm already in Vrindavan. Krishna is so merciful. And which river is this? The Yamuna. Lord Chaitanya jumps into the Yamuna river. I'm in the Vrindavan. This is the Yamuna river. Jai Yamuna Maiya ki Jai. He jumps in. The boys are laughing. Oh, yes. Nityananda Prabhu, you are correct. The sannyasi is crazy. They were not laughing. They were having fun. Lord Chaitanya was in his own world. It's like, I'm in the Yamuna river, getting the mercy of the Yamuna river. Meanwhile, before they had departed, and as soon as they hit the countryside, Nityananda Prabhu knew that this is where I have to come up with some plot. Because his end goal was very clear. It will be revealed in time. So Nityananda Prabhu, he had informed Acharya Ratna, Chandrasekhar Acharya, Lord Chaitanya's uncle, he had told him that you should rush back to Navadvip. Cross over the Ganga, go back to Navadvip. But before you hit Navadvip, you're going to hit Shantipur. Because Shantipur is in between Kantak Nagar and Navadvip. So you'll be in Shantipur. There you tell Advaita Acharya to come with a boat and with a pair of fresh clothes for a sannyasi. A couple of sannyasi dresses, fresh and dry. So as Lord Chaitanya is happily, taking the mercy of river Yamuna, Lord Nityananda is singing glories of Lord Chaitanya. Oh, my dear Lord, he's trying to make Lord Chaitanya comfortable. You are in Vrindavan, this is Yamuna. And Lord Chaitanya, yes, this is Vrindavan, this is Yamuna. And Nityananda Prabhu, yes, this is Vrindavan, this is Yamuna. Lord Chaitanya, yes, this is Vrindavan. They're just mad saying. Sometimes when you're really very blissful, you're very repetitive. Do you know? I've passed. I passed. All right. But because you are so excited, you become repetitive. So that is how they were. And Nityananda Prabhu is saying, yes, you're in Vrindavan. This is Yamuna. Lord Chaitanya, so thank you so much, Nityananda. You are my well-wisher, my only well-wisher. Nityananda Prabhu is, yes, I am there. Vrindavan, Yamuna, Vrindavan. Suddenly a boat comes up. Lord Chaitanya is unaware of that boat. So Lord Chaitanya was in that zone for quite some time. That is what ecstasy means. Ecstasy does not mean that, I finished my rounds for today. That's a different kind of ecstasy. The presentation is over, now Prashad. That's a different kind of ecstasy. The reading class is over, now I can go and sleep. This is the kind of ecstasy where Lord Chaitanya is like, let's go on playing video games. Another game. He's like, I'm in Vrindavan. It was like a reality show going on right there. I'm in Vrindavan, I'm in the Yamuna, He's so happy. And he lost sense of time. A boat approaches him. Suddenly Lord Chaitanya feels that, I've had enough of, bathing in the Yamuna, I should come out. So he comes out, dripping wet. And he's just taken sannyas. So as soon as he took sannyas, whatever sannyas dress he had on, with just those limited possessions, he started running towards Vrindavan. You see, Lord Chaitanya, he hadn't planned that, okay, I'm going to take Diksha, so I need a new dress, I need a new bead bag, fresh tilak. No, no planning like that. He was just going to take sannyas. So he had just whatever clothes he had with him, that is all. So it's dripping wet. And then he doesn't know what to do. I mean, what do I do? How do I change clothes? He hears Advaita Acharya, my dear Lord, I'm here. Please take this fresh set of clothes and put it on. A bahirvas, a kopin, sannyas dress. Advaita? Wow, you are really mystical. You are also in Vrindavan. This is such a blessing. Advaita Acharya says, my dear Lord, this is not Vrindavan. I'm coming from Shantipur. No, you don't know. This is Vrindavan. This is river Yamuna. He says, my dear Lord, this is river Ganga. Nityanand, you cheated me. Nityanand is sorry. He's trying to stay away from Lord Chaitanya. Nityanand, you cheated me. Advaita Acharya, he jumps in to save the situation. He says, my dear Lord. He did not have to ask Nityanand Prabhu what happened. Because these are quick thinkers. They think on their feet. They're very sharp. He's like, my dear Lord, wherever your lotus feet are, that is Vrindavan.
Yes.
So you're actually in Vrindavan. He immediately figured that out, that Nityananda is in a mess now. I need to save him. That's a devotee, right? They figure out. Okay. Okay. Oh my God, in my rush, I forgot to bring my bead bag. And the devotee says, don't worry, I have an extra set at home, you take mine. Sit for this sacrifice, fire sacrifice. They are given. Isn't it? Think on your feet. So, this is Vrindavan, my dear Lord. Okay. But what about the Ganga? He said, this is Yamuna. He said, my dear Lord, at Prayag, the confluence of the river Yamuna and the Ganga and the river Saraswati, but only we are considering Ganga and Yamuna at the confluence. The Ganga flows in. At the confluence, she is on the eastern side. And the Yamuna is on the western side. She comes in from the west. Ganga is flowing in through from the east. Relatively. It's not that Ganga is in the east. Relatively, relative to each other. Yamuna is more to the west of Ganga. You are on the western bank here. So, technically speaking, when they join, they are flowing together like this, right? So, on the west is Yamuna. So, you are in the Yamuna, my dear Lord. The Ganga is on the other bank, in Shantipur. So, Lord Chaitanya changes into fresh, dry clothes. He gets onto the boat. They go to Shantipur. In Shantipur, Advaita Acharya has already informed his wife, I am bringing Lord Chaitanya. You have to cook as if you are cooking for 1,000 people. You have to cook as much food. She's all okay with that. She's like, why didn't you tell me before? There are no groceries. What should I do right now all of a sudden? No. She's happy. She cooks a huge amount of prasad. Huge. So many preparations. Please go to Madhya Leela and read about it. It's amazing what she does. Chaitanya comes to his house. So the sannyas ceremonies happened sometime during the morning, about afternoon, midday, they are in Shantipur. Now the offering has to be done, so she approaches her husband Advaitacharya and she tells him, it's done, please make the offering. Nityananda Prabhu and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Haridas has joined in because Haridas lives close to Advaitacharya. Dear friends. So they kind of tag along. So Haridas Thakur is there. Mukunda is already there, but Haridas Thakur and Mukunda stay a distance away from the two lords, feeling that they are servants. Whereas Nityananda Prabhu, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Advaita Acharya, they are the three Prabhus. They are the three masters. So they stay some distance away, just as a servant who stays some distance away from the master. Advaita Acharya makes an offering. How does he make an offering? He makes an offering in 3 plates. One is a dhatu pat, a plate of metal. And there are 2 kalarpati, kola, banana leaves, on 2 leaves. And then he tells the Lord, my dear Lord, would you want to be here? Because obviously when we make an offering, there is the bhoga arati going on. So let's sing for the pleasure of the Lord. He likes to, while he's eating, he likes some music in the background. Some gentle music. So we sing the bhoga arati for the Lord. So they were there. They were seeing the Lord being so happy, accepting all the bhoga, all the food that was cooked by Advaita Acharya's wife, Sita Thakurani. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is amazed. He says, anyone who can make such preparations for the Lord, such elaborate, like king-size preparations, I would eternally place their feet on my head. Advaita Acharya says no comments. He just keeps quiet. And the Lord sees that, okay, the offering is done, so time for prasad. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu looks at, there are 3 plates. 2 banana leaf plates and 1 metal plate. So he looks at Advaita Acharya and he says, okay, there is arrangement for 3 people, 3 seats here. So let us all 3 sit down and take prasad. Advaita Acharya says, my dear Lord, let me serve you. Both of you sit down. So he makes the 2 of them sit down. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, okay, we are sitting down, but where are our plates? Because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was thinking that they would get empty plates and whatever had been offered to the Lord, that's the serving. Those are the servings, right? You take some pieces of that serving for yourself. You serve, you take some helpings from that. So that's the prasadam godam, the wholesale market of prasad, and then you take your retail. So that is what Lord Chaitanya was thinking. So he says, how do I eat? I have no plates. Advaita Acharya says, you eat off those plates. You eat right off those banana plates, those banana leaf plates. Nityananda Prabhu is not saying anything. He's like, okay, let's see where this goes. Lord Chaitanya says, I'm a sannyasi. I'm supposed to be controlling my senses. I can't eat so much. I know all about your sannyas. Jagannath Puri, you have chappan bhoga. I know how much you can eat. So please, my dear Lord, you give up your shyness. My pleasure, for my pleasure, please eat. Lord Chaitanya says, how can anyone eat so much? He says, my dear Lord, I know all of this food is, I'm so sorry, I can make only limited preparations for you. What 5 people can eat? 5 normal human beings, how much they can eat? That is just a handful of food for you. And the preparations that I've made may not be more than 5 handfuls. So please eat. And if you're not able to finish something, that's all right. You can leave it on your plate. Lord Chaitanya says, business, that's not the business of a sannyasi to leave remnants on his plate. He says, my dear Lord, in Jagannath Puri, that is what you do. You leave your remnants for the devotees as Mahaprasad. Please honor this prasad. So Lord Chaitanya sits and he provides him some cups made of banana bark. The bark of a banana tree, gets cups. Puts servings in them and he serves Lord Chaitanya. By the time Lord Chaitanya has finished eating half of the plate, he refills the plate. Lord says, what are you doing? I cannot eat so much. My dear Lord, don't worry. Please, whatever you had taken as your first helping, you finish all of that. And the second helping that I've served, you may eat whatever you want to eat of that and leave the rest. And then, as Lord Chaitanya is finishing off and the plate is half empty, there's a third helping. And he says, my dear Lord, whatever has been served up till now, you please finish all of that. And of the new helping that I've given you, you may eat half of it and leave the other half. This goes on. Lord Chaitanya satisfies Advaita Acharya. Meanwhile, Nityanand Prabhu is murmuring, like, I have been hungry for 3 days. And I come to the house of this Brahmana. And I thought that now I would have good enough of food, sufficient enough food to eat. And what is this? How will I survive? Advaita Acharya says, I've heard that you are a mendicant. You are supposed to be controlling your senses. You eat frugally. That is what mendicants do. So that is why I just prepared little enough for you, because I am trying to honor the principles that you represent, being a mendicant. And Nityanand Prabhu says, I know all about. And then Advaita Acharya says, and I'm a poor Brahmana. What can I do? So please accept this from the hands of a poor Brahmana as a mendicant who blesses householders. Please just honor this prasad and give your blessings. Nityanand Prabhu says, you and your words, I knew that. I knew it. You simply find out ways not to give me enough food. And I feel so distressed. What will I do with just such small amount of food here? And he picked up some rice. And he says, what is this rice worth in my hand, or if I throw it and it becomes waste? What is the difference? And he throws that rice on the ground. And some of the rice grains, couple of them, they hit Lord Nityananda. Advaita Acharya. And Advaita Acharya starts dancing. He says, I have been blessed by the blessings of a madman, and now I am also going to turn into a madman. This is so wonderful. I'll have to stop here. What we are trying to discuss is, when we hear and through hearing we try to visualize the goal that we would want to achieve as practitioners, it seems much more easier and plausible than when we just try to understand theology and philosophy based upon our limited sense perception. And hence, it's so very important to use our intelligence to study the teachings of our previous acharyas and teachers, especially Srila Prabhupada's teachings, and figure out what would be the best path for oneself on this journey of self-realization. What would be the way one can always stay enthused to chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. This is the Shrutikshita Patha, the path of seeing through the process of hearing. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Hare Prabhupada.